Wants to go hunting from time to time to be able to do that. This is what the Second Amendment is all about, and I think that that's the core of the issue. And for this reason, Republicans as a whole stand with the Second Amendment and upholding it.
I'm probably going to steal a little bit of the libertarian thunder on this portion. I very apologize. Sorry, Dom. Sorry, Eric. We've seen government fail us before with the police. They didn't show up at Parkland. They didn't show up at polls. They failed to do their job. And these calls for unilateral gun restriction on the citizens only puts more faith and trust into a system that has already failed us. I find that very dangerous.
So basically, the reason we take the stance pro Second Amendment is very simple. It's not, you don't have to be rocket scientists to support it. Even though the media makes it out like you have to be. Back a couple months ago in Sutherland Springs, Texas, there was a mass shooting at a church. Okay, mass shooting, and the person who actually stopped the killer was a registered NRA firearms instructor, and he had an AR-15, the Democrats' favorite weapon of choice to use. Every single one they use. I don't know why. Maybe they don't know any other gun. But it was a NRA firearm instructor with an AR-15 that stopped a mass shooting. So quit attacking the AR-15, because I tell you what, 20 more people have been dead at that church. I don't know why you're against it. And look, we have to talk about the D.C. Heller case. I mean, Alex, please tell about that.
Okay, so actually, this is the same shameless plug for our event next Wednesday. We're actually having the person who argued this case. But D.C. versus Heller was a case that was brought up before the Supreme Court, where this man was arrested for having a concealed carry on him in D.C. I actually am probably completely messing this case up. But it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld that it was his right to carry a weapon, even if it is a gun-free zone in D.C. I think I might be messing that up, though.
Would you like me to clarify?
Yes, please.
So he had a gun in his home. He was a police officer, and the law that DC had passed requires any person who would like a firearm to go register with the police chief of the city. He was someone who worked for the police and was denied that permit. He then sued for his right.
Yeah. Cool. I should probably know that. I'm not a big fan of this.
So I want to make it clear that I'm very limited skills with a gun. I've only shot a gun twice, so I only have one thing to say about this. I would say I'm pro Second Amendment as well, because when it comes every year approximately 300,000 people are killed from gun-related violence. But the most conservative estimates from the CDC estimate that around 500,000 people are saved from privately owned firearms. The most liberal say, and that's little L liberal, not big L liberal, but little L liberal says around 3 million lives are saved every year from privately owned firearms. So that's the only statistics I would mention. That's one of the reasons why I'm pro-gun.
Yeah, just off of what Alex said, I think it's ridiculous that we had 4 Broward County sheriffs who didn't enter the building. The local police was notified more than 30 times about this individual. And the FBI was notified more than a month in advance. Yet somehow, we need to entrust more power and trust into the government. And it's the guns. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Thank you.
I just wanted to point out that we're not going to take away all your guns. We're not going to come in your house and take your guns away. That's not what we're asking for at all. We're asking, that there's regulation on who can get the gun, how you can get the gun. There's mental health services. We're not coming in your house and taking away your guns and saying that you can't own a gun. That's not at all what we're saying. And I just think that that's massively misunderstood.
I don't think we said that.
That's what Hitler said. I mean, I don't know. That's what Stalin said.
So I'd like to also open up, I'd like to add there that, sometimes I wonder, what is this, what's the First Amendment of the Constitution? What amendment comes first to the Constitution?
The one that you guys
is it right to the bear arms? Because sometimes it seems like it's all we talk about. For sure. And speaking about the Second Amendment, this isn't a Second Amendment issue, I'd say. This is a safety issue. Our party believes that no one needs an assault rifle. No one needs an AR-15. No one needs an AK-47. See, I know too. So,
that's right.
In what case do you need a weapon that was made to cause mass destruction, to kill a massive amount of people? We ask for common sense gun control. And we're not, again, just like Emma said, we're not asking to give us all your guns. We're not here to take away your handguns. We're simply here to regulate it. We're here to do universal background checks. we believe that we need a ban, an all-out ban on bump stocks, which was a prime tool in the Vegas shooting that we saw last semester. And it's horrific, you know, what's going on. And again, we talk about universal background checks. We need to know who has a gun at all times and what state that they're in.
Yeah, so I take issue in the fact that we're looking at this from a perspective that, you know, allegedly we've been failed by the government, and therefore it needs to be a free-for-all. We need to just throw away, you know, all common sense and just, you know, arm everybody and arm our teachers and arm our parents and arm everybody. No, when something's broken, we fix it. We do not throw it out. That is not the American way. That is not the logical way. That is not the common sense way. And that is not the way that I would personally want to bring, you know, future children and generations into this world. This is not the type of world that we need to be living in. This is not what our founding fathers intended. They did not intend for, you know, you bring up the case of the church shooting, and the first thing I wonder is, there's someone with an assault rifle in this church as it is. Like, that's how unsafe we feel, that we need to be armed in a church, we need to be armed in a school. That's ridiculous. Why can't we just fix these systems? Why can't we fix the fact that there needs to be common sense gun reform? We need to address the mental health issue. We need to address these issues before they become what they've become. We don't need to just stockpile more weapons. That's not going to fix the problem. You don't fix the problem by adding more to what already contributed to the problem in the past. That doesn't make any sense. And as Bryan said, you know, I don't see it being as a Second Amendment issue because we're not trying to take everybody's guns. We're just trying to make it safer for those who, you know, are children, and they legally at no point until they're, you know, an adult can they own a weapon. So why do we need to put everyone around them, you know, in the possibility of being able to harm them? We need to do the opposite of that. So I don't see this as a Second Amendment issue. I see it more as a safety issue. And, you know, for the sake of our children and for future generations and for future tragedies, we need to look at this from more of a common sense standpoint and not so selfish to think that the government is just trying to take our guns. And just to add on the whole, you know, we need it just in case the government attacks. I see the Republican Party and the Libertarian Party constantly defending Donald Trump regardless of what he does. And I know this has nothing to do with Trump, but if you're so confident in the man you voted for, why do we need guns to fight against him and, you know, bring up an army? We have an entire militia. We need to fight a mass amount of people that can be done. So if you trust the alleged tyrant that you voted in, I mean, I don't see why we need all of this to happen.
Typical Democrat. Typical Democrat.
We all have guns in this room.
Democrats have one more.
We all have guns in this room, right? So we all have guns in this room, and you know, a mass shooter walks in, starts spraying bullets, and then we all start firing at him. And let's say he has buddies back up, and it just becomes a shootout. When the cops come, when the police arrive, who are they shooting at? If everyone's shooting at each other, then it looks like, you know, we're going to lose even more people than we originally thought, and we, you know, go back to labeling this as a government issue since the police killed whoever.
Okay, we'll have some time for rebuttal after this next question, but more specifically with reform to school safety, there's been a lot of legislation proposed, a lot by Republican legislatures and Democratic legislatures. So aside from that, I would like to hear from Libertarians on the stance between those.
No one needs this, no one needs that. That's not an argument. That's a personal, subjective evaluation of what you think I should do in my life. And then this common sense gun laws is just ridiculous. The laws that the Democrats propose would do absolutely nothing to stop the mass shootings. The fact of the matter is these mass shootings have increased enormously since the enactment of gun-free zones. The vast majority of these mass shootings take place in gun-free zones. I'm not saying arm every teacher, but increasing regulation on guns is not going to do anything that Democrats say it's going to happen.
I would just say, focusing on a more education policy perspective, I would say the same thing I said before. I think schools individually have a much better say in how to protect their children than any government policy or any government entity could possibly figure out. And I would also like to mention, I did not support Donald Trump nor Garon, so I just want to make that point.
So, Republicans.
So, clarification, is this on the legislation aspect?
This is on, school legislation more specifically. We'll have a chance for rebuttal after this.
Okay. So, a couple things. One, we talk about the issue of school reform when it comes to protecting our children. The Republican Party has put forward legislation in this aspect. We're talking about having bulletproof windows. We're talking about having more school resource officers in the schools. And this is the issue, is that we saw something in Maryland where a student brought a gun to school, and it was because the school resource officers in the area would take down that person that people were able to survive. That's the reason why. And it's the truth of the matter is, the more people that have, we're not talking about just random people having guns, we're talking about trained individuals. That's what we're talking about here.
And it's not like we're calling for every single teacher to be armed. No. This would be a voluntary process. They would have to be trained and certified. It's not like this whole fallacious claim that we want every single person in the entire country to have a gun. No.
Thank you, Democrats.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that I think the majority of the students in this country want to go to school, not to prison. We don't want our own teachers being armed and ready to go for any purpose. But I would say that it's, with mental health being such a huge issue, and we talk about it every time it's a mass shooter, we say it's a mental health thing. So with mental health being such a huge issue, why would we trust so many teachers being armed? Why should we trust? Or, and under a very conservative, under a conservative laws such as that, where so many different teachers are armed, we will see a decrease in background checks. And with a decrease in background checks, we won't know who is in the right state of mind to own a weapon, such as teachers.
Yeah, I still see this as being more of a systemic issue than anything else. If we were to arm selective teachers, how does that work? So what happens? So we make an announcement that the shooter's here, and the 12 teachers that have guns run out with their AKs and just start shooting up the halls. Like, how does this work? I just don't understand. Like, we see a problem in the system. Why are we not fixing the system? Like, why are we just adding more guns to the problem? And then we continuously keep adding, oh, well, the police are called 30 times on the student. Really, because on any other debate, the Republican Party is very quick to say, oh, well, police have to do what they have to do. They're doing their job, and when they shoot an unarmed person of color, well, they were just doing their job. Well, they felt in danger of their life. So, then maybe we do need to revisit the fact that there's an issue in, the way that the police force carries themselves and the way that they use their subjectivity in crimes. Maybe they should put more emphasis on a student if he's violent, and just because he's not African American or Hispanic or whatever the majority race that they choose to shoot up that year, maybe they should put more, of that effort and energy into looking into students like that. I see that there's a lot of privilege in situations like this. The media is a very easy display of looking at it. They're very quick when it's a white shooter to say it's a mental health issue. Had this been an unarmed Black or Hispanic student that caused the shooting, they would have said, oh, well, he's in a gang, or he's ISIS, or he's, Black and militant. There would have been any other excuse. So instead of excusing the system and excusing the officers who didn't do their job and excusing the government, we need to hold them accountable instead of just deciding that we're going to do a free-for-all. I don't know if anyone here has ever read Lord of the Flies. And obviously that's an example of children, but when people are left to their primitive ways, it causes destruction, and I think we can all see that, and it's already happened, and we need to hold our government and the people in charge that we elected accountable for things like this.
You also mentioned how it would be voluntary if a teacher wanted to get a gun, but teachers can barely get the funding for their school supplies. Why would they voluntarily take more time out of the time that they are teaching to go through training and all this stuff for the kids that they can barely get by with the supplies and all that stuff that they're given already?
Thank you. So we'll each have, this is a hot topic, so we'll each have 2 minutes for rebuttals. We'll start with the Eagles of Liberty.